And we're back. I leave the room after finishing my final exam and breathe a sigh of relief. As I'd hoped, the exams weren't so bad. I managed to breeze through just about everything but the English final. And even that was acceptable. I wonder how Emmy did. Even more so, how she's doing. She looked terrible at lunch today. I mean, she was pretty happy to be out of her wheelchair, but she was so exhausted. Something's been wearing her down, and I'm starting to really doubt that it was just the exams. Should I confront her about this, though? My musing is interrupted by a tap on the shoulder. Hey, Izao. Got a minute? Ooh. I wasn't expecting a choice here. I don't know, maybe I can switch over to the Muto route, which I would probably enjoy more. I suppose I can spare a few minutes. No, I have other things to worry about. That sounds so mean. I'm not going with that. Muto is cool. Yeah, I got some time. Nowhere important to be or anything like that. Muto raises an eyebrow as if questioning my statement, and beckons me back into the classroom. I wanted to get some feedback from you if I could. I know this course wasn't quite up to your level. Don't worry about it, the science club activity is more than made up for it. Did they? Well, in fact, that's what I wanted to talk to you about. Do you think that was a worthwhile activity, just for my own reference? Yeah, it was a great way to further what we did in class. It was definitely worthwhile. Muto seems delighted by my response. That's great, exactly the sort of thing I was hoping for. You know, Izao, I'm glad you came here. It's always good to have a student who really gets into the subject you teach. In a way, it makes dealing with the rest of the students more tolerable. You're a bright kid, too. You took this stuff like a duck to water, or some other such simile. Now, thanks. You're a great help, especially with that college stuff. Now, there's one more thing, Izao. Bit of advice from one scientist to another. What's that? What does a scientist do? Observe the world around him? Exactly, good. Simple question, but one that most people can't seem to answer. That's the essence of a scientist, Izao. We observe what's there and try to figure it out. What if there's something you can't figure out? What's a scientist to do if you can't observe something? How, for example, can we talk about quarks? Is that quirks or quarks? Quarks, I guess, when nobody else has actually seen one, or black holes when observing them directly is impossible. Well, scientific equipment's pretty advanced. Muto irritably waves away my response. No, that's not it at all. Those are tools. I'm trying to give you a philosophy. Think, if you can't observe something directly, then how can you observe it? Guess? That's not very scientific. Now, how could you guess the movement of a quark? What is your guess based on? Of course. Should have thought of it earlier. The things it affects. Muto claps his hands together excitedly and whoops. Yes, exactly. Good. Remember that, Izao. If you can't examine something directly, it's because you're looking at it wrong. You have to look at it differently if you want to uncover the truth, and if it eludes you, then look at what it leaves behind. That is the essence of being a scientist. We never stop looking for the answer, never take anything for granted. Observe, experiment, and observe some more. There's a lot of stuff out there that makes no sense, Izao. Your job is to get it to make sense. If nothing else, I hope you learned that here. I think I can remember that. Muto smiles, satisfied. Good, now go and enjoy your time off. You've earned it. I leave the room feeling a little confused. What brought that on? Although, yeah. Am I going about this thing with Emmy the wrong way? If she won't tell me, then can I go about it some other way? Oh. The question keeps spinning in my head even after I made my way back to my room. What if she gets angry about it? Besides, what if it's nothing? If I go in and refuse to leave until she tells me what's wrong or something, won't that come off as clingy? I don't want to start a fight or anything over something like this. Maybe I should just drop the matter and see how she is tomorrow before I do anything. Would it be so bad to just let it go? It's not like we don't enjoy each other's company. But odd as it sounds, I really want to help her. Why does that sound odd? I don't even know what with or if there's anything at all she needs help for. But I want to. Suddenly a knock on my door rouses me. Ah, yeah. I open it to see Kenji. Oh, it's you. It's me, that's it. If you had any idea what I'd been through, what I'd done, you'd be happier to see me, dude. I mean, that was some epic you may never see me again shit. And here you're just acting like I went down to the store for some milk. You're a cold man, Izao. I really respect that. Thanks, I guess. It's smart to play it safe, you know, don't show any emotion. Keep your cards close to your chest. Unless it's time to show your cards, or you have bad cards. Then you should fold or collect your winnings. Do you understand? Yep, makes perfect sense. I take it the mission went well. Oh, awfully nosy of you, isn't it? You can't just go saying things like that. Things are at a delicate stage. One wrong move and bam, the invasion succeeds. I thought you were going to blow the conspiracy wide open. It's bigger than I thought. I need to update my charts. And probably change some of the puppets around. You want to help? I've got some whiskey from somewhere. You can fill me in on everything your investigation has turned up. Better not. I'm supposed to meet her today. Gotta go do that. Can't raise suspicion. Kenji nods in approval. Still keeping close to the chest, huh? Okay, man, I respect that. Good luck. Thanks. I'm just gonna pretend, for the sake of my own sanity, that he's wishing me luck in talking to Emmy. And if I squint, that whole card analogy he was talking about works here. Time to lay it all on the table. Or see if I can't get Emmy to do so, rather. With a sense of something approaching purpose, I head for Emmy's room. I hop up the stairs leading to her room and knock on the door. Who's there? No, that's odd. Her voice sounds a little choked. Hey, it's me. Thought I'd stop by. Zao? Come on in. I reach down to open the door, only to find that it's locked. More and more curious. Your door's locked. Oh yeah, sorry, give me a minute. In a few minutes, Emmy opens the door, door grinning. Sorry, I had to put my legs on. I was napping. Despite her grin, there's something definitely off. Emmy's eyes are slightly red, and it looks like she's been crying. Hey, no problem. Are you okay? Huh? Yeah, I'm fine. Just how you look like you've been crying. Wow, he's just going right out with it. Oh yeah, Zao, you're off to a great start on this one. What? Nah, I'm fine. I'm just happy to see you. She punctuates this with a long kiss that continues as the door slams shut behind us. I know what she wants to do now, and I'm also painfully aware of how badly I want to do it too, but... I break the kiss with a wrench of self-control that nearly kills me. Hey, wait. Emmy's eyes crinkle in confusion. Huh? Wait for what? We need to talk. Isn't that supposed to be my line? And never a good thing to say. Well, she's got a point. It's usually the lead into a breakup, or the prelude to a fight. Maybe it can be a good thing this time. That's the hope, anyway. Can we at least get onto the bed? It's my first day back on these things, and I'm still readjusting. Plus, the nurse said I should try to be on the lefts often since running puts such a strain on them. Yep, can't argue with that. It's a trap, we both know it, and we both don't care. Then again, it's awfully hard to get angry while in bed with the object of your affection, so maybe there's that motivation too. I set Emmy's legs by the bedside and sat down next to her, throwing an arm around her shoulders. In silence, I just enjoy being able to be in this position again for a few minutes. Then, of course, I need to ruin it by opening my mouth. Look, I know that you've been kind of having a rough time of it lately, and I want to help you out. I thought it was just exams getting to you, but now I come to your room and you've been crying, and that kills me. But I can't do anything if you won't talk to me about it. I told you I'm fine. No, you aren't. It's obvious something's eating at you. You can tell me, you know. There's a slightest increase in tension in Emmy's voice. Why is my saying I'm fine not good enough? Because it's obvious you're not fine. You're concerned, I get that, that's cool. But I'm fine, and it's nothing you need to worry about. Not sleeping and spacing out more than Rin doesn't strike me as being fine. I just want to help. Yeah, I don't like seeing you like this. I want you to be happy, you know. I get a feeling like I came out wrong because Emmy fixes me with an icy stare. So you want to fix me, is how? She's definitely getting angry now. Want to swoop in on your white charger and save the day. Stop the nightmares, the phantom limb pains. Restore what's lost? Her voice catches in her throat and the tears start to flow. Well, you can't. Nobody can. Nobody will. I'm so stunned by her sudden verbal assault that I remain quiet. Neither of us says anything for a while. I'm surprised that Emmy tightens her grip on me rather than pushing me away. After a deep breath, she starts talking again. Look, I'm sorry. There's these nightmares. About the accident. The accident, I should have known. You should have known, yeah, you really should have. It took her legs after all, but it never comes up, of course. And I usually deal with them fine, because I can run. Running clears my head like nothing else. I won't have to worry about anything while I'm running. I just concentrate on breathing, on the rhythm of things. It's easier that way, life's easier that way. Just keep moving forwards, you know, and nothing else matters, just getting around the next curve. Then it's the next curve, and the next, until I can't go anymore, or think anymore, or do anything but slow down and walk until I catch my breath again. After something like that, nothing else matters. But I've been stuck in that goddamn wheelchair for too long, so no outlet. Today just kind of boiled over a little. Could have talked to me about it, you know. You didn't have to go it alone. Emmy smiles sadly, like she's trying to explain to a child that all fire burns. Yeah, I did, and I do. But why? Why do you have to keep going through this alone? Can't you just trust me enough to let me help you? Let's smile again. Emmy leans in and kisses me on my cheek, an almost motherly gesture. She leaves her mouth close to my ear, and she confesses this one thing to me. Because, I've already had everything I knew ripped away from me once. I don't know what I would do if it happened again. She pauses as if uncertain as to whether or not she could continue, or she should continue. I could feel a violent churning in my gut. She continues. So I can't rely on you, or the nurse, or anyone else. Just me. That's how it's gotta be. Having delivered this short speech, she looks down and covers her mouth with the back of her hand. The conversation is clearly over. I search for something to say, but I can't think of anything. Maybe I should go for now. I got stuff. Yep, stuff and things. Emmy doesn't even look up. She sounds tired or relieved. I can't tell which. Okay, Zal. Go take care of that stuff. I'll see you tomorrow. I get off the bed and head for the door, pausing at the doorway. Hey, Emmy. Yeah? 1,000 things I want to say. I'm too mixed up to say any of them, though. After her admitting that she'll never let me close, I feel like my world's just been ripped out from me. What happened in that accident? I know she lost her legs, but that's never seemed to bother her. What happened there? What scares a girl so badly that she won't accept help even from someone she loves? I don't know. But I want to know. I want to know so badly that being denied, that feels like a knife in my gut. Hey, Zao? You were saying? I'm still standing in the doorway. Nothing. Never mind. And I'm closing the door. And walking down the hallway, down the stairs, out the door, into the dark. Somehow I wander back to my own room. My brains are doing a mile a minute, My brains are doing a mile a minute. I've always heard that as going a mile a minute, going nowhere fast. I can't figure out how to deal with this. I thought that moving forward was a good thing, dwelling less on the past that I can't change, living in the present and looking at the future. After this thing with Emmy, I'm not sure anymore. She was saying the truth. It's simpler to look at the next curve, ignoring the path gone by. No worry about the opponent left behind, no care for the spectators on the sidelines, and unfortunately no time to watch out for lagging teammates either. I threw myself down in the bed, looking at one corner of my ceiling as if the answers I want were written there. No such luck, of course. She's literally running away from something, but have I not been doing the same thing, trying my best to forget about my hospitalization? I am getting better, but my health isn't going to magically fix itself. Emmy has 2 legs instead of a heart to deal with, but those aren't going to magically fix themselves either. Maybe this is just as fixed as both of us can get. The room becomes darker and darker until I can't really tell I'm looking at a corner anymore. Morning comes too soon on the heels of a sleepless night. Is this how Emmy's been spending her nights? Staring at the wall or ceiling, trying to stop thinking about whatever it is. Her, in my case, that clenched feeling in my gut is still there. I can't rely on you. Words spoken so casually, almost like she were teasing me or chastising me for suggesting that the earth is flat. That's how it's gotta be. The way it's gotta be sucks. I'm feeling so miserable that I very nearly decide to skip the rung. That would be stupid, though. It's not something I should do just to see her. Sure, that was the original reason, but it's something more now. I started to enjoy the running itself. There are worse ways to get the blood flowing anyway. Never thought I'd say it after the first week or so, but I feel a lot better after a run. Like, no matter what else I do today, I've done at least that one thing. It wakes me up, too, and Emmy herself said that running always clears her mind. Maybe it'll help clear mine. I hope so. The morning is cool and clear, if a bit humid. Summer is making itself known, it seems. Emmy's already stretching out when I arrive and greets me with a smile and a wave. Hey, Zao. The sight of her so chipper is like a kick in the nuts. How can she be so happy after yesterday? I give a half wave and am surprised to receive a hug. Hey, about last night. Here it comes. I want to say thanks. I actually managed to get some sleep for the first time in a while, and I think it's because of our talk. So thanks. I could she sleep better after our chat. She basically told me that she wouldn't get any closer to me, and that let her sleep well. Excuse me, but what the hell? I mean, either doesn't notice my bafflement or chooses not to notice. No telling with her anymore. Oh, no problem. Glad it helped. The venom that threatens to drip into my voice is controlled for now, but I think I'd better start running now before I do anything stupid. Emmy seems equally willing to get started, and before long we're darting around the track. I can tell she feels more relaxed. Her running has gone back to the more graceful movements I remember from when I first watched her. It's a stark contrast to the almost brutal way she's been hurling herself around the track these past few days. Our talk really does seem to have helped her. I pity it couldn't help me. I get into the rhythm of the running, thinking back to when I couldn't afford thinking about anything else but keeping my breathing steady and legs moving. Guess those days are gone, at least for the first couple of laps. Noted the lack of some success I'm having with clearing my head, I increased the pace. There's the burning sensation in my legs. The breaths come ragged in my chest, the pounding in my heart, which I still need to be careful about, and there's a Skype call. Let's just decline that right now. But it does seem to have gotten stronger. I could feel it pumping blood through my veins. I hope I did close that. Let me check. Did I say no? Yes, I did. Okay. Just gonna... There. It does seem to have gotten stronger. I feel it pumping blood through my veins. Sound thrums in my ears, but instead of being panicked as I was the day in the snow, I'm instead filled with elation. Yes, it's working. My heart, that fatal flaw that landed me here, has improved. I'm able to keep going now, and maybe one day I'll be able to stop worrying as much. Right now, it doesn't matter that I have no idea what to do about Emmy and I. All that matters is that my arms and legs can continue to pump in concert with one another. Nothing else. As I hit the final stretch, I remind myself that running really does help, although not as much as I'd hoped. I do feel better as I walk a few laps to cool down. I begin to remember last night in a slightly less emotional manner. Emmy wants me to stay distant from her. Can't bring myself to do so. There's gotta be a way around this, some kind of middle ground I can reach. Not sure what that middle ground is, though. Damn, I was almost feeling optimistic. Nice run, Hazao. You've really improved. Nice run, that's all I can hope for now, isn't it? Congratulations, Hazao. You're pathetic. Gotta change my attitude. Well, you know, I am pretty awesome. Yet I just keep saying things that I don't mean. Any second now, I'll be as good at hiding my problem as Emmy is. I like to think so. Why does she do this to me? Say something like that with such real affection in her voice that it makes my heart leap. She doesn't mean it, she can't. I must be doing a worse job than I thought because Emmy peers closely at me. Hey, you feeling okay? Maybe we should get to the nurse, huh? Yeah, I'd hate to keel over on you. Emmy looks a little shocked at my bitter tone. Don't say things like that. You've already done it once before, you know. Why does she act so affectionate? She doesn't really care. I thought she made that clear. Despite all that, I find myself apologizing even though I shouldn't have to, even though she's probably just putting on an act. Sorry. Come on, let's see the nurse. I can't get myself to calm down this whole time. Every time it feels like I've gotten over what happened last night, Emmy does something or says something that shows affection. I'm back to the beginning. The image of her ending that conversation haunts me. It was like the final twist of the knife that left me feeling bereft of any hope that Emmy and I could be more than what we are. What are we at this point? Little more than friends who happen to fuck. And really, it's not like I don't enjoy the time I spend with her. Said so the other day myself. I very nearly didn't even bring up anything with her. Was just gonna hop on in there and let it ride, wasn't I? With this running through my head, I find myself in front of the nurse's office, still brooding as he checks out Emmy. Emmy comes bounding at the door, gives me a kiss, and darts off the shower, I assume. Meanwhile, the nurse beckons me into his office to give me that ritual once over. Any problems today? No, I even pushed a little harder today than I have in the past, and I seem able to handle it. That's uncharacteristically risky coming from you, Hazao. You've been hanging out with Emmy too much. She's rubbed off on you, and not necessarily in a good way. At the mention of Emmy's name, I can't help but frown unhappily in spite of my efforts to control. Well, now this is new, don't you think? Last I checked, your usual response to Emmy's name was a grin, not a frown. What exactly happened between you two? Because Emmy doesn't seem to be on it, whatever it is. She looked more relaxed than I've seen her in weeks, which is unusual for this time of the year. What do you mean by that? By what? For this time of the year, I keep trying to find out what's been bothering her, but she clams up as soon as I broach the subject. Then last night she said, let me guess, she won't tell you because she says she can't trust you. Now you're crushed because you thought that the two of you were so much more than she seems to think, right? More or less. How the heck did you know? Hazao, I'm the nurse. It's my job to know these things. Plus, I've known Emmy for long enough to know that she'd try to do something like this. It's just like her. He says this in a sort of half-affectionate, half-frustrated tone that would seem more appropriate if he had a cigarette dangling from his lips. As it is, he seems willing to make do with a pen. Like, you mind if I give you some advice? Man, another choice already? Well, I'm gonna take a quick drink. Alrighty. Oops. No, this is my problem. That's... Like, I don't really know how to deal with people with Emmy's kind of personality since I don't tend to like that kind of active one, so I actually have no idea what to do in this one. It's just, sure. What was it Muto said yesterday? If you can't observe the thing, then observe what's around it. Worth a shot. The nurse knows Emmy better than I do, I'll wager. I'm sure I'm open to suggestions. Honestly, I'm kind of lost. I got no idea how to deal with this. I never would have guessed. He grins while he says this, as if I think he's kidding. Look, here's the deal. Emmy is stubborn. You should know that by now, and if you don't, then you're pretty unobservant, but I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt here. I'm so grateful. Anyway, if she's decided that she doesn't want to talk about what happened, then she's not going to talk about what's happened. Has she said anything about what's been bothering her, even a hint? Well, she did say she'd been having nightmares about the accident. Really, you're making progress, then that's good. Well, I guess I can fill you on this without violating my strict non-interface policy when it comes to Emmy making stupid decisions. The anniversary of her accident is coming up soon. She gets depressed around this time because it was a pretty traumatic event considering what she's lost. It's kind of like with Hanako. She was like this on her birthday. That's the other thing. She acted like she lost more than just her legs. What happened? Whoa, nope, not going there. You have to ask someone else about that because that's a whole can of worms I'm not about to open. If Emmy wants you to know, she'll tell you in her own time. You just gotta be patient, that's all. Why are you even helping me with all this? Because you're good for her. She trusts you even if you don't think she does. And you got the best chance out of anyone at this school right now to help her through this time of year. She won't accept my help, but she might accept yours if you don't screw it up. So don't screw it up, got it? Hope I'm about to respond, but a knocking sound at the door interrupts me. Hey, you guys still in there? Just a moment, Emmy. Give us a second to get our pants back on. The door bursts open and Emmy glares knives at the nurse. Asshole. Didn't mean to get your hopes up. Hey, can we leave me out of this? Anyway, what's up, Emmy? Forget some? I try to take a more cheerful tone with her. No need to upset her, to can play the everything's fine game. Actually, I forgot to ask you something. Oh, what's that? Do you want to come with me on a trip to my house? My mom's making dinner, and I thought you might want to join us. Well, of course I accept. And he punches the nurse in the arm playfully. Not you, idiot. You were over last week. I was talking to Hizao. Oh, how interesting. Meeting the parent. I'd love to go, Emmy. Thanks. The nurse raises an eyebrow, but says nothing. Great, it'll be my room. I'll be in my room. Swing by after you shower and change into something clean, and we'll grab the bus. Sounds good. I'll see you in a bit. This time it's me who leans in for a quick kiss before darting off to my room. What an interesting development. Maybe we're getting closer after all. Maybe Emmy's finally ready to open up a little. Maybe she's just being polite, and a free meal sounds a good way to apologize for last night. Great, now I can't decide whether to be excited, nervous, or depressed. I settled for a combination of all three and hop in the shower. What, did he fall asleep in the shower? They usually only do this when he goes to sleep. Oh, hey, it's this CG again. I don't think I like riding on buses. Actually, I think I'm pretty comfortable saying that. That is a fact. They sway a lot and they smell funny. You can feel every bump in the road. Really not looking forward to this. Plus, Emmy's legs keep making clanking noise that draws the attention of everyone else on the bus. She's in shorts again. She's got long socks up to her prosthetics, so they don't look so obviously false again. But that doesn't stop the odd look or two every time her legs bump together with an audible clunk. I shift nervously in my seat, and Emmy raises an eyebrow questioningly. She doesn't seem to mind the stares, either that or she doesn't even notice that people are staring. I'm sure she's gotten her fill of odd looks before. After a certain amount of time, I doubt she'd notice anymore. Not that she'd ever tell me if I asked. Another fact is, I'm not just uncomfortable with the bus. I can't seem to come with the terms of the fact that Emmy appears to be trying to bring me closer while at the same time pushing me away. The nurse said she trusts me, even if it doesn't look like it, but I'm not sure I can trust the nurse. He's protective of Emmy, just like I'm protective of Emmy, so I'd be likely to say something to make her look good if someone else asked me about her, so he might just be doing that. Still, there was something about the way he seemed genuinely surprised that Emmy invited me along. Maybe last night's talk helped more than I think, but I'm still worried. Meeting the parents is a big deal, right? Not that I haven't already met Emmy's mother, but that was just as an acquaintance. Now it's going to be as Emmy's boyfriend, with everything that implies. I can feel my heart pounding in my chest, an echo of the snow-covered afternoon that feels like it was so long ago that it might as well be another life entirely. Except then I didn't know what was going on. I also didn't have a medication to help prevent things spiraling out of control. I've come a long way in terms of my physical health, and for the second time today, I feel like I'll be able to live normally now, or at least as normally as possible. Now, if only I could manage my relationship as well as I've managed my heart, I'd be in great shape. Well, we're here. Emmy grabs my hand as soon as we stepped off the bus, starts heading down the street almost immediately. Come on, we got a couple blocks to my place. Huh? Okay. I follow Emmy down the street, watching her confident stride. She's setting kind of a quick pace for just a walk. Guess she's anxious to get there. So does your mom do this sort of thing often? Nah, not too frequently. Mom's never been much for playing hostess. Oh yeah? Yeah, my dad was always the one pushing her to have people over. This sudden and unprompted reference to her father catches me off guard. From the look on Emmy's face, I'm not sure she meant to mention him. I think I've only ever heard her talk about him once. All I remember is that Emmy's mom told me that he wasn't around anymore. Oh, your mom prefers solitude. Emmy laughs, either from self-relief that I didn't ask about her father, or from finding my statement actually funny. Not at all. She's why I'm such an outgoing person, you know. She just prefers to be a guest rather than a hostess. It's less stressful that way, or so she says. Clearly, she's never had to meet her girlfriend's mother for dinner. Emmy giggles again and speaks in a teasing tone. Nervous as that? You shouldn't be, you know. It's not that big a deal. Just dinner at my house, that's all. Yeah, but have you ever thought of bringing home a boyfriend before? Wait, but have you ever brought a boyfriend home before? I confess that part of me dreads hearing the answer to this. I know very little Emmy's past relationships. I don't even know if there were past relationships. Yeah, no, I guess I haven't. Maybe this really is kind of a big deal after all. Oh, good, now I can feel twice as nervous. Though, to tell the truth, I'm pretty happy to hear that I'm the first one. Maybe we've got something special after all. God, he's like changing his mind so much about everything. He's like, oh, maybe she doesn't actually like me. Oh, no, we're good. No, maybe she doesn't like me after all. Bolstered by this new thought, I've managed to calm down considerably by the time Emmy knocks on her front door. Hey, Mom, we're open. Open up, we're here. The door swings open and Mrs. Ibarazaki stands grinning at her daughter. The grin is still surprisingly similar to Emmy's. I'm never going to get used to that. You know, people normally wait a few minutes before they start shouting at the door. And most mothers say hello to their daughters instead of scolding them right away. Ah, of course. Welcome home, dear. I've missed you. What a mess. An affectionate hug later, we're inside, and it's only then that Emmy's mom seems to remember that I'm actually here. And hello to you too, Hizao. How are you? I'm quite well, thank you. Nice to not have school to worry about for a little bit. Ah, yes, you finished up your exams, haven't you? That must be quite a relief for you both. And that's certainly a weight off my mind, that's for sure. Mine too. I think I slept well for the first time in weeks last night from relief alone. If this news is a surprise to Emmy's mother, she wouldn't show it. Still, her response betrays a note of interest. Is that so? I'm very glad to hear that, Emmy. You know, I get worried about you when you get all wound up about, well, exams. Certainly Emmy's mother knows something I don't, or rather, she doesn't know that Emmy's told me about the nightmares. It's interesting being able to observe how Mrs. Ibarazaki covers for Emmy. That protective instinct to make sure that I don't know any more than Emmy's willing to tell me. I suppose Emmy's got more in common with Quarks than I ever realized. Moves around fast, impossible to understand through direct observation, yet she has an effect on everyone she encounters. Wonder if Mrs. Ibarazaki will figure out that I know about the nightmares, or if she is just keeping everything secret from everyone. Yeah, it's not been as bad this year as in the past, so that'll help me to stay focused. Okay, I know that's not true. She even cut off contact outside of school hours during exam week. Well, she did see me during the day, and she told me more than once that the morning run was the only thing she looked forward to during exam, so maybe it's not that much of a lie. Either way, to hear that being around has helped even a little makes me feel a bit better. Emmy's mother raises an eyebrow at this statement. Either she doesn't believe Emmy, or she's as surprised as I am. Well, then it appears it's a good thing you two have become so close. I tell you to take good care of my daughter, Hizao, but it looks like you're already doing that. Emmy grins at this and seems to take pride in having managed to ingratiate myself with her mother so easily. Actually, I'd say your daughter's been the one taking care of me. She's gotten me out and running. I've probably been more active since meeting her than I was even before. I'd actually never thought of it that much, nor had I ever appreciated the humor in it. I wasn't too active before the heart attack. Pick-up games of soccer don't really count since they weren't that common. So now that I know for sure that I have a weak heart, now I run every day, pushing my luck with the help of my medication. I chuckle quietly, then realize I never finished my sentence. Well, before I had my heart attack and wound up at school here. Comes out so casually, there was a time that I would have thought twice about talking about what was wrong with me at all. But now it just seems silly to care, especially with the company of Emmy and her mother. If Emmy can be cavalier about her disability, then so can I. Think back to the track meet where Emmy declared herself the fastest thing on no legs. The fact that her obvious loss has never seemed to bother her, at least not in public. Being stuck in the wheelchair frustrated her, I know, but even that was something she dealt with on her own, despite my efforts to the contrary. My chair is being stupid right now. Get over there. There. Emmy has a way of bringing out the more active side in people. I've never quite figured out how she does it. Those puppy dog eyes she gets, for starters. I'm not surprised that she managed to rope you into an exercise routine. If Rin weren't just as stubborn as she is, I'm sure that Emmy would have gotten her out and running with you too. Oh, that reminds me, Rin says hello. I drift to the other edge of the conversation as we move into the dining room to eat. It smells delicious in here, and the spread that Emmy's mum has produced is impressive. Oh, you made enough to feed an army in here. Is it too much? Well, you can always take some leftovers when you go. Ah, that sounds great. I can only handle cafeteria food for so long. Something home-cooked would be a welcome change of pace. What he said. Thanks, Mom. The food tastes as good as it smells, and there's a lull in the conversation while we all dig in. Emmy assaults her plate with the usual amount of gusto, and I'll admit that I set a pretty fast pace myself. So, Azao, I hear that you and my daughter have gotten rather close, The urge to say something like "not really" is so strong that I open my mouth to say it, but then reassert control. We are close, there's no getting around it. I mean, Emmy's brought me here, hasn't she? Fortunately, both Emmy and her mother seem to take my reaction as a sign that I'm caught off guard rather than considering saying something cruel. I suppose we have. I blame the morning runs myself. You make it sound like a bad thing, Azao. Well, I, for one, found it a relief. Why's that? Emmy's always been a popular girl, but never made many close friends. This is a bit of news to me. I've always seen Emmy chatting with her classmates in the hallways. And certainly the whole track seems to love her, but it is true that she chooses to isolate herself during lunch with Rin and me. Not exactly the sort of behavior one expects from a popular girl, after all. Then again, I've experienced her unwillingness to get close firsthand, so I can't say I'm not surprised. I was beginning to have my doubts. Emmy rolls her eyes to the ceiling and grumbles something I can't quite make out. Huh? What? What was that you just said? Nothing. Azaki chokes on her drink with laughter. You've been hanging out with a nurse too long, Emmy. I'm gonna have to talk to him about corrupting my daughter. Somehow I don't think that would be very effective. I'll learn most of it from you anyway, not the nurse. Don't listen to her, Azao. She's a born liar. Yeah, right. Oh, I don't know, Emmy. I think your mother has a good point. What, you traitor? You're supposed to take my side in this. Yeah, but you did lie about your Ow! Kicking the shins from an unmistakably plastic foot cuts me off, but not before Mrs. Iwasaki's eyebrows shoot upward. What about your leg? It wasn't a big deal, that's all. I was just, in a wheelchair for a bit. Last few mumbled words are clearly deciphered by Emmy's mother. I suspect she has experienced this sort of thing, and a worried frown appears on her face. So that's why you kept dodging my calls. Oh, Emmy, I know how much you hate being in a wheelchair. No wonder you've been in such a mood lately. Yeah, she's been much happier on her feet, so to speak. Well, of course, she spent enough time in a chair just after the accident. She didn't get prosthetics immediately? No, she had to finish healing up before they let her start the sort of therapy you've got to go through to adjust to those things, especially since she wanted to run on them. I had no idea. Yeah, it sucked. Oh, did you see Rin's mural at the festival? Emmy's sudden change of topic makes me realize belatedly she's been fidgeting the whole time her mother and I have been talking. I should have figured on her being a little skittish when it comes to talking about the accident, even around her mother. Oh, no, I didn't make it out to the festival, remember? Although I caught a glimpse of you at your check meet, it seemed pretty weird to me. I think that's more or less what she was going for. She talked a lot about it being dreamlike, or trying to make it dreamlike. Rin's art is one of those things that I don't think I'll ever understand. That's not surprising. I don't think Rin expects it to be understood. She told me once that art allows people to understand stuff they wouldn't understand otherwise, but all the same, she doesn't think it actually works that way. I'm surprised that Emmy's talked about this with Rin extensively enough to actually have Rin's opinion, such as it is. Although I expect that Rin could not, if she were so inclined, say the same thing about Emmy's. Unless, of course, Emmy is purposely keeping me in the dark about everything, which is likely, but unpleasant to think about. I drift down this unpleasant train of thought for a while, losing track of the conversation. Hey, Emmy, I've been meaning to ask. Are you going to visit your father this year? Oh, he's alive? From the way she says it... Oh, wait, it could be, like, the grave. From the way she says it, you'd think Emmy's mother was talking about the weather. From the way Emmy reacts, it's clearly not the weather they're talking about. She flinches, a slight jerk of the head backwards, as if she's just been slapped in the face. Can we talk about this later? Her voice sounds brittle and strained. It looks as if she's been severely shaken by the question. Seems that Mrs. Ibaraki misjudged how close Emmy and I are. Some things, it seems, are best not converse with me around her father is one of these things. The accident that took her legs is probably another of those things. If her reaction to the earlier conversation between her mother and myself is any indication, it doesn't take Emmy's mother long to realize she screwed up. Oh, of course you can, dear. I'm sorry to bring it up. I just wanted to ask so I can make plans. It's fine, don't worry about it. Emmy fidgets nervously, as if embarrassed by her own reaction. I confess that her reaction is confusing. She only just mentioned her father to me earlier today, less than a few hours ago even. What is a simple question about when she'll visit her father causes such a strong reaction? Unless whatever serenity she claimed to have reached by means of our talk the previous evening has suddenly evaporated, or it didn't help as much as she thought or claimed. I'll be right back. Gotta visit the little girl's room. Emmy gets up suddenly and leaves the table, leaving me and Mrs. Imazaki alone. I'm a little conflicted. Should I go after her, or should I stay here? It's obvious that Emmy's departure was not based on the call of nature. Something's bothering her, and I have to know what it is. What's with all these choices? There's like choices all over the place. Create a save game. Talk to her mom or go after her. I forgot to turn my mic off when I took that drink. Huh. I think I'll just talk to her mom. I mean, talking to other people has been what I talked to Buto about stuff, then I talked to the doctor, and now let's talk to her mom. There's an awkward silence at the table for a while after Emmy dashes off. I can't think of anything to say. Emmy's mother sighs and breaks the silence. Did I save? Hold on. Did I? Yes, I did. Okay. Emmy's mother sighs, breaking the silence. Sorry about that, Izao. I sometimes forget that Emmy's touchy about certain subjects. And I was talking about the wheelchair thing, too. Should I go after her? Heavens no, she didn't leave the table to continue the conversation, you know. But if she's troubled, shouldn't someone help her? If it were anyone else, I'd say yes, but my daughter is stubborn as a mule, and if she wants to be alone, it's best to leave her alone. Otherwise, she'll probably say something she'd regret, which would cause you to say something you'd regret, and I would prefer that dinner doesn't end with one or both of you storming out of the house. If that were to happen, I'd be a terrible hostess, wouldn't I? I've already acted as such a fool once today. It's okay, I shouldn't have brought up the wheelchair, apparently. Mrs. Iwazaki frowns, clearly more bothered by Emmy's omission than she'd let on. I wish she wouldn't do that, it just makes me worry more, you know. She does this often. Chair, please. Ugh. What, running off to the bathroom? No, I can't say she does. Keep injuries from her mother, though? Well, that's a little more common. Every time I catch her lying like that, she assures me that the only reason she didn't tell me is because it wasn't a big deal. If it's any consolation, I'm sure the only reason I knew about it at all was because I saw her every day. This elicits a dry chuckle from across the table, and Mrs. Iwazaki sighs a little sadly. Still hesitant about getting close to people, huh? You keep hoping that she'll get over that. It's funny, really. She's bounced back so well from the accident in so many ways. I guess some things never really go away. From the looks of it, the whole thing still bothers her, too. She seems to be a little more willing to talk about the accident without Emmy around, though. Hey, I got a question, if it's alright. Oh. What else did Emmy lose in that accident? The nurse said she gets this way near the anniversary, and she won't talk to me about it to me. So you thought I'd fill you in, hmm? Well, yeah, hopefully. Well, there's a problem with that request, you know? Let me guess, you promised Emmy you wouldn't tell anyone she didn't want to know, and you don't know if she wants me to know. Something like that. I promised Emmy that she'd be the one to tell people the full story. But isn't that important? I mean, it's clearly had a huge effect on her, if she's, still like this so long after the accident happened. That's true, it did have a long-lasting effect on her. There are a few things that she'll probably never get over. For a moment, Mrs. Iwazaki looks incredibly saddened, as if an old wound is bothering her. I suppose there are a few things I'll never really get over either. Another dry chuckle, and with a shake of her head, Emmy's mother banishes the memory. Look, there's something you absolutely must understand about the way Emmy thinks about the accident. What's that? It wasn't a big deal. Somehow I managed to keep my mouth from falling open in surprise, but it takes some effort. That has to be the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. I beg your pardon. Okay, maybe it's not that simple, but it's a pretty accurate summation. Emmy believes that the accident did not define her, and that everything she lost that day doesn't define her either. She's not that girl who lost her legs. She's the fastest thing on no legs. Her optimism and energy came out of that wreck without a scratch, as far as she's concerned. And it goes beyond that, doesn't it? I mean, last night she told me that she refused to rely on me because it would make losing me too painful. Not really. You said she won't tell you about the accident, even though you've asked her about it before. The reason she won't talk about it when you ask is because, to her, it's not something you absolutely need to know. Even if she wasn't terrified of getting too close to anyone, she still wouldn't talk about it. She's afraid of being close to me? Oh, goodness me, yes. For all that talk about being unscathed by the accident, she's gained the ugly knowledge of how quickly it can all be over. So she's not going to let people get especially close to her, and she certainly wouldn't resent any implication that she cannot work through this on her own. But I don't think she can. Oh no, are you sure you've been dating my daughter and not someone else? Trust me, Izao, she can get through this on her own. But she has nightmares and can't sleep well, and she does this every year. Tell me, if she wasn't able to get through it on her own, do you really think she'd still be alive? She would have killed herself or something equally melodramatic. So what, I shouldn't try to help her? I didn't say that. I hate seeing my daughter like this and knowing that she could rely on someone else who would let me relax. You just need to understand that accepting help goes beyond everything Emmy thinks about herself and the way the world works. If you still want to offer her help, then I guess that's your call. Honestly, I'd like you to, but it'd be silly not to warn you that it's not going to be easy. You just need to be patient with her. She's already closer to you than anyone else she's ever met at Yamako. Well, she doesn't feel like we're very close. Good, that makes this part easier. Amy's voice nearly gives me a heart attack. Ooh, I didn't hear you come back at me. How convenient. Wait, were you eavesdropping? Nope, just happened to come back at the right moment, I guess. Emmy, Izao was just... Emmy holds up a finger, cutting her mother off. On his way out of the house? Yeah, I know. Emmy's trembling with anger now, looking vaguely betrayed. Emmy, don't be ridiculous. We were just... You promised. The pain carried in that last word is almost too much for me to bear. The idea that I could hurt her that much is being like being kicked in the gut. Emmy's mother looked similarly pained by the thought. And I kept that promise. Just listen, there's no reason to go throwing people out of the house. Emmy's mother seems to be both angry at her daughter's outburst and embarrassed that I'm a witness of it. There's only one real solution to this problem, I think. It's okay, I'll go. No, really, that seems a little unnecessary. Don't worry about it. Thank you for dinner, Mrs. Ibazaki, and thanks for the advice. It was my pleasure, Zao. I'm sorry we didn't get to dessert. That's okay, I have to watch what I eat anyway. Good evening, Emmy, Mrs. Ibazaki. The formality of our conversation, coupled with the fact that I'm getting ready to leave, seems to snap Amy out of her anger. No, wait, I'm sorry. I've been so... And after last night, I just thought, you don't have to go. I take it back. It's okay. I can't help but smile slightly. She can barely articulate her apology, and I really would like to stay. But I don't think I can. Right now I need to think about what her mother said, and about what I'm going to do about us. I don't want to risk accidentally getting Amy angry again in her current state, either. No, I think I'd better leave. You seem pretty shook up, and, well, I'd only wind up trying to help you again. I know you'd prefer I didn't, so I'm going to leave instead. But... Hey, it's not a problem. You don't want a knight in white charger, right? Just promise me one thing, okay? What? Don't be angry at your mom, okay? She was just giving me some advice, that's all. Emmy nods hesitantly, like the simple idea is all that she can grab onto at this point. She's so terribly off balance, I can't do anything about that right now. Okay. See you tomorrow, okay? Running in the morning, don't forget. I can see that I've hurt Emmy by deciding to leave, but there's nothing I can do for her as things stand. And I know that she's too stubborn to admit that she wants me to stick around. I watch very severe emotions cross Emmy's face as she tries to process everything that's just happened. Shortly comes that calm look again, like last night, and that voice that tries so hard to sound careless. Sure, Zao, see you around. Both of us are unwilling to concede emotion at this point, and I'm having a hard time keeping up my facade, so I turn on my heel and walk out the door. I shut it behind me slowly, pausing for a moment as the latch catches my hand on the doorknob. Did I make the right decision just now? Should I have stayed and tried to work things out? No, I decide. Not in front of her mother like that. In spite of everything, I'd rather keep Emmy's mother insulated from the sort of anger that surfaced last night. Even though she's probably used to it, some protective instinct wants me to keep Emmy's image as a cheerful girl intact. With a start, I realize my hand is still resting on the knob. I take my hand away from it, put it in my pocket, and head down the slowly darkening street. Alright, well, I'm gonna end it there. The route's actually getting pretty good now. Like, I really did not like it at first, but I'm starting to get pretty into it now. But anyway, thank you for watching, and goodbye.